Hi everyone, welcome back. Today everything is pink for some reason, and I want to show you guys the Konova Master Pan system. This is a fairly low budget add-on to the fairly low budget Konova sliders, which allows you to have the camera turn, follow the sort of angle that you position it to during the slide. Now this is something that I've always been doing since I started using sliders, but I would do it with the actual fluid head. So I would actually I would just have a fluid head on top of the slider, and I would sort of turn the fluid head as I did the slide. And that works with some sliders, with some fluid heads. The better the slider, the better the fluid head, the better it works. And of course it takes practice, and ideally it's done with, if you do it with a fluid head and not with this system, like just aiming it manually, then ideally you'd have some sort of flywheel system as well. I'll discuss this in a separate video. So this is an alternative option which allows you to do things a little, it's not necessarily an alternative, it's different, for a different kind of use. So this is something where if you don't want to use a fluid head, or if you don't have a fluid head that's good enough, or if you haven't maybe had enough practice, or if you want something that is repeatable, because this is, when you do it manually with a fluid head, just aiming the fluid head, it's not repeatable. So with this, it will do the exact same thing, there, and then it'll do the exact same thing again. Doing that repeated move is sometimes important for, special effects work when you need to composite two things together. So, you do one shot like this on the green screen, do the same shot again on like a live background, and then put the two together. So that does have actual, important uses in filmmaking, and that's awesome. Now, this system is really good for the price. It's fairly quick to set up. You basically just need to remove whatever thing you have holding the camera. For example, I use a fluid head. You can also use a ball head instead of, with this, you don't really need a fluid head on top. You can just use a little ball head, or just use like a little leveling base, like this little piece right here. So yeah, just whatever, anything to hold the camera here. And then, so you put this between the camera holdy thing and the slider. So this is the Master Pan system right there, from here to there. So then you screw these things on, which is, nice and easy to do with these big, whatever they're called, thumb screws. And that's it. So basically just connect on top. It would be really nice if Konova made a really big sort of bag system that holds their sliders together with accessories. Because I've been using the Konova sliders with loads of different accessories, motor kits, and these things, and rotating flywheel weight systems, etc. So I think it would be great if Konova made a really big bag, even if it's not included, even if you pay extra for it. I think it would be great if they did that, so that you can put the whole system in the bag, maybe even with a fluid head. I mean, if I want to remove the fluid head, normally I'd have like a quick release under here, so I can remove the fluid head, but at least maybe enough space for a ball head, for a little ball head here. So to be able to take the entire thing, put it in a bag, and you get to the shoot, put it on the tripod, and you're good to go. I think that would be awesome. But I mean, this is still fine. It doesn't take that long to set up. So this is great. It can be used together with the other Konova accessories, like the legs. They just fit on there. I've already got one on this side. They fit on there basically exactly the same. If you find that your legs don't fit, then you've put these things backwards. So just flip them, and then your legs will fit. So that is, yeah, there we go. That's the legs fitted, and it will work together with the motor system, which just clips into there, which is really nice. It will work together with the flywheel, but you will need a little accessory to connect both of them together. So if you want to use the flywheel together with this, then you'll want a little extension piece. I didn't know how much it cost, but a little extender to hold this. And also, this system is, well, basically the total cost for this is definitely within a really good price range. So I would say definitely worth the price. And I know some of you are going to ask whether you should be getting both this and the flywheel. And I would say, I don't know. I mean, they're for different uses. The flywheel is, I mean, this thing does give you some sort of resistance. And when I'm using this, I don't feel the need to also use this together with it. I'm not saying this is an alternative, but I probably wouldn't necessarily bother getting this if this is the thing I want to use. I'll discuss this in another video and the reasons why you might want to get this, but they are different for different uses. I would say you don't necessarily have to get both of them at the same time. If I was just using this, I'd be happy with this. I'd be happy just using it like this. It does give you a little bit of resistance to the slider, which is a little bit similar to what this does. Not exactly the same, but I find that this works pretty much fine on its own. So the adjustments here are done nice and easily. So you would move this to the position you want and you would adjust it. So let's say I wanted to aim right there. Make sure that the fluid head, you don't have to, but probably ideal to make sure the fluid head is, or the camera is aiming with the little arrow here. And then aim this thing like that. So let's say I want it to aim exactly at the camera. And then I'd move it to the other side and once again, aim it by just moving this. So aim it like that. And that's it. It's going to do the move for me now. And you might want to get to here again and double check that it's still perfect, but it's, yeah, basically that's it. So, okay, well, what are the things that could be improved here? Well, first of all, during the move, when you do this, it takes a split second, or it takes a little bit of distance on the slider before it starts turning. So it starts to move and then it starts to turn, which actually looks fine, but it's not necessarily what it's not the ideal thing. I would say the ideal thing is for it to start immediately. The thing that needs to change here is that right here, there's two little bendy plastic pieces. I'm not sure what the exact purpose is, but Konova, please change those two little plasticky pieces. I'll send you guys a photo. Please change those to something solid, and then it will move solidly throughout the entire slide. And if you guys want to find out if that ever happened, then have a look at the link down below for, not the link, the description down below to see if that ever happened. It's fine as it is right now. I mean, this little thing where it sort of starts to move a little bit after the shot. So let me give you guys an example. So right now it's going to, I'm going to move to here and I'm not sure when it started. It's just a tiny bit, it's about like there. So basically I start to move and then about there it starts to turn. Not a big issue, really not a big issue. So it's only, you're only losing about that much. But still, it would be great if that improved. Next up, it would be great if this thing was completely solid. This is an updated version to the one that I showed several months ago or whatever. So this thing still has a very small amount of flex in the system, which is not ideal, but it's solid enough. It's been improved and it's solid enough to allow you to use a fluid head. But, so for example, if I wanted to just do a shot that isn't moving and I wanted to just keep my fluid head on there and not remove this system just to move to a fluid head shot. So let's say I wanted to just lock it down and do a non-moving shot, a non-sliding shot. Then, yeah, it's solid enough to do that, but not ideal. If I was to really go crazy on this, then I would notice this little bit of flex. As you can see, there is some flex in there. So if I'm moving nice and slowly, and I want to do this sort of shot like that, follow my actor or whatever I'm doing, yes, it's usable, but just not ideal. There is still a little bit of flex. There's still a little, it adds some flex to your system. So not a big issue, still okay, but it could be improved. And by the way, the adjustments, these little adjustments, if you have this issue, you might come across this issue when, not really an issue, but just not set up perfectly. You might come across an issue where it sort of starts to make a bit of noise as it moves, or you'll see this sort of getting stuck a little bit or whatever. That just means that these aren't in the correct height. So to adjust that, just bring it all the way to the end, make sure that this is nice and loose, and then lock it down. Same thing the other side, loosen this, bring it all the way to the end, make sure this is nice and loose, and then lock it down. And then you should be able to not have any sort of issues of this thing being too high or too low. So that's mostly it. It's a nice system. It's at a good price range. It's usable with your low budget Konova slider. If you have a Konova slider, I'm not sure if this is usable together with other sliders, maybe, but you'll have to like DIY it, sort of like figure out a connection to make these things fit on the other slider. So I'm not really sure, but yeah, very nice, works together with the other Konova stuff, which is great. Like the motor, it is very important to have the motor workable with this because a lot of people are going to want to do these repeated motorized turning shots, which is great. And this is, in my opinion, a nicer way to do that sort of motion with a motorized kit than buying the big motor head that Konova sells. So I think this is definitely, I mean, it's quicker to set up and lighter weight. I mean, it doesn't tilt, but it's much quicker to use, much lighter weight, and still works with the Konova motor, like the new KSB motor, which is a nice, quick, like more compact, quicker to set up system than the old motor. So overall, yeah, definitely really nice. Have a look at the links down below to see my videos about the Konova motor, about the flywheel, and maybe my reviews of the Konova stuff. And I've also got a video explaining which Konova to choose, because I know a lot of you guys are wondering what size to get, which version, the K1 to K7, whatever. So this is my K2 right here. So and also a video you guys should check out is an alternative to this, which is actually a replacement, like instead of this, which is to use two sliders. So you'd buy two Konova sliders, set them up in this really crazy fancy way that I showed in that video, and you have basically the same thing as this that works in the exact same way with tilt as well. So it will pan and tilt exactly the same as this, but it will pan and tilt for a similar sort of size, similar weight, probably a little bit more because you have two sliders, but you don't have this additional system here. So that is an alternative to this within a similar sort of price range, a similar sort of thing. So that, if I was to choose between this and that, I would probably go for the other one, but this is still perfectly fine. And yeah, so check out all those videos. There'll be links down below. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you found this video helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me in the comments below. And if you want links to this, then you'll find links in the description. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.